Good morning, everybody. It is a new server and time to update the first 48, so to speak. On this tutorial video, we are going to go through the first few base expansion levels and how I personally go about doing it to optimize getting your base up to speed and staying ahead or even competitive with other members of your server. So, for starters, you can see that I already have some things building. That is because the server just opened up about 20 minutes ago. I missed the opening by about 10 minutes because yay, alarm clocks. It is 4 a.m., so if I do sound a little bit quiet, it's because there are people sleeping, and so I apologize for that. So, for starters, when you first get into a server, you don't have anything really unlocked. The most important thing is to start production on your generic port, joint production shipyard, and warehouse. What I personally do is I put 4 points into my joint production shipyard, 4 into my warehouse, and 4 into my generic port. Now, you don't need 4 in all 3 of these, but you're going to get them eventually, and you do need 4 in your warehouse at the very minimum, as well as in one of these two. I can't remember which one. I think it's the generic port. You need 4 points, 3 in joint shipyard. So, you start each new server off with a few speed ups for free right out the gate. Which reminds me, I'm going to go ahead and claim those. And I'm going to go ahead and get one of these going. Actually, let's make 2 of them going. So, you start out with very little in the way of resources, but because of these missions that you have, you can very easily get the starting resources that you need to expand and level up your base. It looks like I spawned at actually a really decent location, which is nice. And so we are going to go ahead and find a metal outpost right there. Okay. Is that the only one round? Nope. Here we go. So we're going to go ahead and choose to mine the metal one. Metal is going to be the most important thing to level up our base early on. So, as I go ahead and do some things here, you can bear with me for a moment. The first few hours of a server are the most hectic for everyone, and you want to really get going to get all of your upgrades started as close to server launch as possible. So, as I mentioned, you get those first 4 levels in these starting buildings, and then when you do, you can click up to the next level, to level 2 of your base. Now, sorry, I had a cough there. Now, the reason why you want to get this started as soon as possible is, unlike the actual buildings, you can't use speed ups to make this go faster. So this is your only limiting factor for leveling up your base. Once you have unlocked these levels to level 4 using speed ups, it should take you, if I remember correctly, it should take you like 5 speed ups, or 4 speed ups for the joint production yard, 3 if you only do it to level 3, which is what's required, and then it should take you 5 for the generic port, and I think another 5 for the warehouse, or maybe it's only 3 for the warehouse too. Either way, once you have those going, you go ahead and start the click up to the next level. Now, you have 40 minutes to do whatever you want, whatever you need before you can do the next thing. What I recommend doing is, after you've got these buildings going and you've started that timer, now go to ship production and build yourself a pair of mining ships. In a recent patch, they changed the way that mining ships and mining fleets function. You can now, or maybe not now, but you should now be able to put multiple mining ships in one fleet and send it to one asteroid. This will allow you to mine from less nodes, needing less operation circles. Very, very handy. Additionally, once you have your maximum number of mining ships built, which is the first thing that I would rush building, you also are going to need some frigates. These frigates are going to allow you to kill the very early NPCs. Now, I am playing on the computer here, but if you are on your phone, the interface might look just a little bit different for you, and if it does, that is not a big deal. After you have unlocked the Joint Production Shipyard Level 5 and the Generic Port Level 5, I would then recommend beginning to upgrade your utility ship dockyard at least to level 3. That way you can get your small utility ships out faster without using any speed ups on it. Additionally, you can level up your frigate dockyard for the exact same purpose to get your frigates out faster. It's really kind of a personal preference on which one you do first. But looking ahead to the next zone, you can see that we are going to unlock generic port, which will give us more capacity of both. And the utility ships do tend to take longer to build than the frigates, so the percentage cooldown on, or speed up on their production should be the most useful. Do not waste your speed ups on on these buildings. You're going to want them for the next phase of upgrades. Now, let's see. Alright, good. We have finished building that. Now I need to get some frigates. I have about 50 or so military command points. So what are we going to build? Well, I have a wide selection of ships to pick from in the early game here, but I'm thinking I'm going to wind up building probably some of these stealth relics a lot. Stealth and Zingo Stingers, and let them just completely annihilate everything. The stealth, unfortunately, are a little more expensive than the Xeno. I also do have these rubies, which I actually just got these, so I have no idea if I'm going to use them or not. Probably not, at least not for right now, because compared to the Xeno Stinger, their damage is just a joke, non-existent. And compared to the ability of the Stealth Reliant to just tank by dodging everything, they're not that good there either. So, yeah, you know what? I think we will. I think we'll go ahead and build some Stealth Reliants. Now, most players, when they're just starting out, you're going to have these starter frigates. If it's your first phase, these other two types will unlock eventually. They don't unlock right away, if I remember correctly. That is okay. These are fine for your first phase to be used until you unlock some of the other frigates that you will inevitably get. You will get for free the base Reliant. This is a decent starting frigate for the first phase, but it is quickly outpaced by pretty much everything else. Now, I do not recommend when you have the shop option to buy a box that guarantees gives you a Reliant, a Mare Tranquillatus, and the Winged Hussar. Where is the Winged Hussar? The Winged Hussar. I buy a box. If it gives me the Winged Hussar or the Reliant, I buy a second box. If I get the other one, I do not buy that third box that has the Mare Tranquillatus. It's 800 Proxima coins for a frigate that really doesn't do anything. At least by its base type doesn't do anything. The variants maybe, but the base type sucks. So if you get lucky enough, like I did, to get both the Winged Hussar and the Reliant base type, just go ahead and stick to those. Now, the multi-role frigates here, just like with the other, are very quickly outclassed by ships like the Reliant here. As you can see, we will go ahead and pull up, do some of this stuff. Don't forget that when you go into a server, while the Dawn financial plan, which I've talked about in my other videos, does not reset going into a server, the black market box does reset upon going into a server, letting you buy one extra box the day that your server launches. Now here we didn't really get anything. I mean, we got a cruiser tech point, which is always nice, I suppose. But we didn't get anything super critical. Alright, let's take a look here. So, we'll start with the FG300. As you can see, 1100 DPM, damage per minute, 10,000 health, 5 armor. Okay. The Reliant, though, 3,200 damage per minute with the same other stats, effectively. So while the warp speed on the multi-role is faster in this early game, that means nothing. This damage per minute number, though, being 3 times higher, oh yeah, means everything. And even the base model, which you get from the box for free, guaranteed eventually, base damage twice that. So, personal preference, but I would always go with getting whatever ship, whatever frigate in the early games has the highest anti-ship DPM, so that you can clear out the early NPCs and start farming experience chips. Those experience chips are going to be very, very handy, and I'll get to that in a little bit later part of the video. This will be a multi-video series because the first 4 or so levels of a base will take several hours to do, and I do not plan to make this video several hours long. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade our Reliants here. We're not going to actually put the points into them just yet, we're just going to make a plan of what we're going to do. So I am going to start out with the avoiding missiles and torpedoes. And then I'm also going to get the reduced chance of being hit by guided weapons and direct fire weapons. I'm going to get both of these to make them even more evasive. And then we don't have evasion in that system, which is fine. I think that's it for evasions, those two. So that should be 28 points. Yeah, 28 points. And then I'll come down here to the weapon. Not going to pick up strategy. It's not useful just yet. Won't be useful until much later when we actually have larger NPC fleets to fight. But what I will be picking up is probably the damage and the accuracy nodes, which this one, so that'll be 38 points, 48 points, 58 points, and then 62 points. And the rest can come later. Alright, so now I have a plan of attack. I know what I'm going to do. We have a lot of upgrade points. These, if you have not seen my other video, are weapon tech points. Or rather, they are... Yeah, no, that would be a right way to say it, weapon tech points. You get these from opening up the UE coin boxes, as well as other boxes, as well as from buying them from the store and other sources as well. Buy them from the NPC stores, not the cash shop. Technically speaking, this game is a free-to-play game. However, there are loot crates, I guess you could call them, which you can directly purchase a premium currency which will let you purchase those loot crates. So uh, you could pay to win this game if you had enough money to do so. I don't do that. I just pay for the battle pass each server. It's $10. I consider it like a subscription, and the battle pass is huge value. So I like the battle pass. I like battle pass systems or games that use battle passes and subscription setups versus pay to win. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze again. It's just one of those mornings. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and work on upgrading and leveling up this ship, the ship's weapons. Dump some speed ups here. After all, we do have a ton of them. So what I am doing here, for those of you who don't know, I am using these low-level speed-ups to fail to upgrade the ship's weapon. Every time you fail, the success chance goes up by a base 5%. So I am currently at 30%. I'm using 3 of these level 1s, which do not increase the chance of succeeding, as you can see. Level 2s increase it by 2% each. Once I hit 40% chance to succeed, if I do not succeed, which here I did, then I go over here and use one of my level 5s, which gives 40%. That'll give me an instant 80 or so percent chance to succeed. Usually that'll get it. So we're at 20, 25, 30. Oh, still haven't hit it. Oh, but we hit it here. Alright, so we're going to, on this one, since we're at 20%, we're going to go ahead and actually just guarantee it with 2 level 5s. So that we have the upgrade fully done. Alright. Now it is fully done. So, it's very important also that when you are in these first few hours, you try to waste as little time as possible on constructions, on idle construction queues. I am kind of bad at that. Like I said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. But it's always important to keep these construction queues going, especially while you have downtime waiting for the next zone to unlock. Another really important tip that I can give is while you are waiting with nothing to do. So like right now, I have produced more or less all of the ships and upgrades that I plan to produce. I have spent my resources fairly well, I would say. I do need to defeat a level 2 privateer fleet. There should be one nearby. Let's see. These are not level 2s. No, they are not. But those are. Okay. We'll go ahead and retreat these for now. This will cause the mining ship to have less capacity. As I talked about in another video, sending combat ships with your mining ships, especially in the early times before you get the large ones, is super critical to make sure that you have all of the resources that you need. Alright, let's see here. I'm just doing something on another screen, so bear with me. Okay. That's a level 1 fleet. And a level 2 fleet. Alright. Actually, was there a closer one? There is a closer one. But that's okay. We'll do this one. Alright, so we don't have any more ships built, combat ships built just yet. We are building a relic. We're going to go ahead and speed that up. Just for our first one, so that we have the damage we need to go take care of those NPCs. Also, make sure when you go into a server that you select your agreements. I'm going to do Prospector for this server. This lets me go check out planets and other things to get dawn points. This is very handy if you are in a server where there is no chance of you or your group getting first place. Because then you can still, with diligence, easily get the 600 points you need for 350 dawn points. And with a little bit of luck, you can get the full 1,000 for 400. But just getting to 600 for 350, and then having the free dawn points that you can get from various other things, from like your server, um, your organization group ones, from, I can't remember what the other one is that gives it to you. It gives you like 50. It's not no strength. I can't remember. But you can get the 400 that you need for each server by doing that. Alright. What's in the box? Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now, normally we just let the game automatically do its thing. But here, we're going to actually skip because I just got the IO. I have been trying to get the IO base type for quite some time, actually, and not been succeeding. I did a research agreement, which would only results really were the IO A, B, or C, and I got the IO B. So now I will be able to build the IO A and B because I own both. And the B is the hard-hitting, face-melting one. So that's really good. Anyway. Alright. I now own 4 frigates. Make our fleet with 1 relic, 3 stealth frigates. And let's go ahead and find ourselves a level 1 pirate. Here we are. Level 1, yep, attack. Nope. Nope. It helps to click slower. There we go. Alright. This last patch, they also made it so that we now have 200 ability points, AP, which is very, very, very nice. So now, instead of every 7.5 hours filling up your AP from 0, now it is 10 hours. This is particularly handy for someone with a full 8-hour or more job. Alright. Let's also go ahead and see if the other part of that patch with the mining ships is good. It is good. Or at least it appears to be good. Nope. Maybe it's not good. Well, I thought that update was live, but I guess maybe it's not yet. Or maybe there's a requirement that I'm unaware of. Well, alright, if that's the case, we'll just go ahead and send one to mine the space dust right next to me. And then we'll send the other one out to go mine. There. Clicked on part of the base thinking it was a ship for a moment. Alright, so we got 9 minutes left on our expansion. We will finish the video once we start building the following expansion, so I appreciate all of you who have stuck with me this far. I know the building portion of the game can be just a little bit boring, but it is super important if you want to get early leads and use those leads. And we'll get to watch some pretty cinematics here while we wait. I will say that is one thing this game does exceptionally well, is combat is quite pretty. Little railguns firing at each other, generic cannons. I'm not seeing any torpedoes from the row yet, though. There we go, there's my torpedoes. And they missed, and they missed again. They missed a third time. Wow, they are not doing so good, are they? Downside of using torpedoes. The reason why we are not using our upgrades to finish the ships faster, or not finish ships faster, sorry, I am tired, to upgrade the weapons, armor systems, etc. of the Reliant is because the more upgrades we put on the ship, the longer it takes to build them and the more resources it takes. So by doing it this way and leaving them just as the base version, we save ourselves a bunch in the early game, and that can be kind of important. So we're going to go ahead and get a second stealth Reliant building. And then I think after I finish that, we might build some Xeno stingers. Xenos, being a backline unit, are very good at hitting very hard and avoiding damage because everything in front of them will tank for them. a particularly handy endeavor. Right. About to finish that combat. Good, we finished it. Oh, and we have the ship set to auto-retreat. Well, we will have to deal with that. But that's alright. Yippee, victory, got some chips. Now, I know I said before to not have downtime, but unfortunately because I mistimed everything, I'm going to leave one of these ports empty, as this will finish in 5 minutes. I don't have anything that takes less than 5 minutes, and I'm not using a speed up. So we'll go ahead and talk about what is needed for the next zone. Now, base expansion to level 3 requires generic port 2 to level 5, the small integrity plant, which is requires generic port to level 5, the small integrity plant to level 1, and the habitat to level 1. So these obviously you can just build them and they will just go. This one you have to build and use speed ups on. You'll have to use quite a bit of your speed ups, in fact. Additionally, while depending on how you play, it can be very beneficial to use your speed ups to get the liaison command unlocked. The liaison command center will let you go to a city nearby and dock to that city to purchase more speed ups quickly. I see one of my allies is already here, in fact. I need to do the same. So we're going to go ahead and send one of our recons there. Or not a recon, but a ship as reconnaissance. Perfect, because it's going to take me like 15-20 minutes to get there. 10 minutes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright, so super important to micromanage these things. Timing can be very critical. We have 3 minutes left on our base expansion zone. So we are going to go ahead and just chill here for a minute. I suppose now is a good time to mention, if you do like this content, let me know. If there are questions that you have, comments, and concerns, you can also let me know those in the comment section. It's very important to me to get feedback from the community. That way I can continue to improve these videos and continue making things that are relevant to the player base. I know not everybody finds this part of the game to be particularly interesting. I know I sure wouldn't if I was a new player, but it is relevant, it is important, and I don't think it gets enough attention to help new players figure out what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it. When I first started playing this game less than a year ago, I didn't know anything, and I went out and looked up videos, some tutorial stuff. It was all outdated. really old information. Damfire makes some fantastic videos, so shout out to him for inspiring me to create these kind of new player guides to help other players like myself who were just getting started in the game. So we are approaching the end of the expansion timer, and coincidentally of the video. Let's go ahead and find one more level 1. Alright. The next video that I will be making in this series will continue to talk about base expansions. I will start that video up when I am getting close to the next zone. But we will also be talking about uh, another very important topic, which is your agreements, your prospector's agreements or individual rating agreement, depending on what you chose. As mentioned, this is the prospecting agreement that I chose. I did this because I don't have to worry about killing ships, I don't have to worry about fighting. I can just go out, scan planets, scan belts, scan Lagrange points, and then walk away with my stuff at the end of the server. So that's why I chose the Prospector Agreement. But if you are a more active player or in a more PvP active group, then it can absolutely be to your benefit to pick the individual rating. So it's up to you. Um, Always make sure that you are completing your main missions here. Most of them can be completed for free pretty much while you are um, working on the upgrades to your base. So like I said before, we're going to go ahead and get the habitat and the small integrated plant going. Unfortunately, that's going to eat up most of our metal. Not that big of a deal, but we should have enough metal when these are completed to skip to the next zone. In fact, we will very likely wind up buying speed ups at the station here to make that process quicker. So as you can see, I have a fleet going to fight an NPC fleet. That'll let me complete this final step of the quest. Final step of the quest gets me some more rewards, about 16,000 metal. The rest of the resources don't matter yet. And then I get to go on to the next chapter. The next chapter gives me the more rewards, which will pay for the next upgrades, and so on and so forth. Alright, with that, we're going to go ahead and end this video. It's already been about 40 minutes or so. So, those of you who stuck around to the end, I appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next one.